Association meeting.
7 o'clock, I'm going to call our utilities meeting, the first one of 2026 on January 6th, to order. The first thing, we have no public, so there will be no public comment. But I would like you all to stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna start tonight with any staff update. So,
Madam Chair, just before we do that, because do we have any absent members or anybody needs to be appointed, or are we good? I think we're
okay,
good, right?
We have Joy isn't here, she's,
I think it's just alternates who are not
Yeah.
here. Okay, cool.
I think it's okay, and Ann is here, but she just went to check about getting
Okay,
sworn in.
perfect.
Okay.
All right, so I'm still opening up the agenda here. I don't have too many substantive updates since last time. Last time was a really update-heavy one. For those of you who accompanied us to the DES presentation in Concord, thank you very much. I think it went really well, and that presence was hugely impactful. I know that from the people I've talked to in the room. Just having all of you there, showing that support was incredibly meaningful. So thank you for that. We really appreciate that.
Very well done.
Very
thanks.
well done.
I'm a good talker sometimes.
It was very professional.
Well,
You did
thank
an
you.
excellent job.
So I've sent the PDF to Mike, and we'll go back and forth on that. We're also in the process of getting approval from the Drinking Water and Groundwater Trust Fund Advisory Board to use any money left over from the High Range Road for other surrounding streets. So we're in the process of that, which is great. That will go before their advisory board, I believe, on February 9th. And then that's where they'll okay us using that money that's left over from that grant to move east of High Range. We have a date with the school fixed for the water event that you all have been working on, which is January 28th from 6:30 to 8. Invites have gone out to DES, and I'm just waiting to hear back confirmation on exactly who will be there, but we have their support, and they're going to rally a group of folks to come down. So, trying to think what else. Still working on the special assessment street assignments. December's weird because you lose 2 weeks of everybody being out of the office. And then I'll have a little bit more of a game plan ready for you on that at the next water committee meeting about how we're going to move forward with that. And last meeting, there was a concern over assessed value and attaching to water and what it might do to assessed value. So I talked with the assessing department, and they conferred with our contract assessors as well as among their own interpretations. And when a building permit is pulled for a utility, they do not add any additional value to the appraised value of the house. So, for example, if you were to put in a pool, right, and you pull a permit for a pool, that signals to assessing as well that that you've added something to your house, and that's going to increase the value, which is then what would increase your property taxes. Because there's no relief in value for having contaminated water, it actually doesn't count towards the way the town assesses value. Having contaminated water, there's no legal provision to do that. So the town will not also assess you for doing something like connecting to water. They will not change your assessment based on that. That doesn't mean you can't sell your value of your house, because remember, valuation is all about what people are willing to pay for the house, not what the town doesn't come up with valuation. It's all based on market rates. So overall, John, I know you were particularly concerned about this. If you pull a permit to attach to water, it's not going to increase the assessed value of your house. And hopefully that answers the question and the concern that we have. On the market, it might have a different bearing, and that might be good for some people, right? Some people might be hesitant, but the catch is right now, even in the areas that have water, that have concerns with PFAS, they're still selling for market value and above market value. So it really doesn't have an impact on assessed value in Londonderry.
Did you happen, I know you weren't asked to ask, but did you happen to hear from Pennachuck if they're going to charge people to connect, other than just the engineering and construction costs to go from the street to the wall?
So that is a great question there. And there is a fee that Pennachuck passes through that comes from Manchester. So there is a connection fee to connect to to anything to the Manchester water system. I believe the initial connection fee is somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,300. That is one, but it's billed, so there's ways they can deal with that. Pennachuck does not mark that up at all. It's just passed on straight from Manchester.
Got it. Thank you.
And so that's for anybody who would be tying into the system that gets supplied from Manchester. If it's somewhere else in the town, we don't have that answer yet.
Okay, thank you very much.
I did ask that question on an unrelated note. There's some ancillary costs in addition to just the construction. There's an inspection fee, which is not much for Pennachuck when they get started. And then there's the building permit fees that you would have to pull from the building department. So there are some other fees that wouldn't be covered, but the bulk of the construction would be able to be covered by the special assessment.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. You got anything?
I do not.
All right then.
Can I assume that means that the FAA has not fallen on their sword yet to come and put a solar panel on the property?
I
around
have
Beacon?
reached out to a couple different sources, and I do not have an answer as of yet. I think we all know what the answer is going to be, but I will follow through until I have a hard answer for hopefully our next meeting.
Hold on,
Thank you.
you're talking solar for the airport or near the airport, or you just?
Out on
The
the-
beacon behind us.
Oh, okay,
There's a piece of land behind.
As I was corrected.
okay, sorry.
The UFO, by the UFO.
I don't know.
You'd have to see it.
I'm
So you
sorry.
go- you go
How to
down-
tell who grew up here and who didn't in one
I'm the new
second.
guy.
You go down through the road, you go to this fields, you go all the way back, and if you look up this little spacecraft sitting there, that's actually Beacon for the airport. That's
never-
FAA land. Many years ago, we convinced the Army Reserve to come in and lay out a soccer field at an angle, but that's all their property.
Okay,
Madam Chair, just a quick question. if I
Sure.
could. Kristen, what is the current deadline, or the deadline, I guess, for submissions of strategic plan input?
So we're taking a month off from strategic plan with you guys. So I'll ask that it go back on the February agenda, just because we're dealing with a couple other boards this month, Heritage and Arts Council, that we're kind of focusing on building out this month, and then going back to Budget Committee one time, and we've talked about it a lot here. I think we're pretty far along on this one. We did schedule out 2 public workshops that I'll be announcing the dates of coming up soon. One is in January, one is in March. So there's going to be 2 more opportunities for public feedback. So we're still, I would say at this point that by the March meeting, you would want to have your priorities pretty squared away for that, because then it's the public hearings in April and hopefully passing it with the council's approval, or we're going to bring it to the council for feedback and their communication in May. Does that answer your question, John?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'll be seeing you again later this month for this. You can't wait. You look so excited.
okay, moving on to the administrative board work. John did send out the minutes, so I don't know if everybody's had an opportunity to review those minutes. Yes. Well, can I have a motion then to,
Before you do, so, my apologies for being late, I had a brain seizure.
Bug.
Yeah, that's it, bug. Drew got me the download like 4 or 5 days, I started, almost finished it, and then I forgot to finish it. I was actually with Ray when I said, oh crap. So, I'm sorry I'm late, if people didn't have the time, Lynn and Mike did give me comments. I incorporated them, except they both gave me comments in the same section. So either we can defer this to next month, or it's totally up to you, or I can read the section to Mike and see if he likes it or doesn't like it. And it's about the FAA building. And it reads as, that's the wrong document, that's the one that Lynn sent me, so it must be this document. Subcommittee. Why doesn't it change? Because it must be on the other screen. Sorry. Display two. Yeah, it is where it is. Energy Department. Also, comma, Mike mentioned that a great site for the solar array is the open space at the FAA Beacon owned location behind Town Hall at Sergeant Fields, and asked James to see if they would be responsive to this. Is that okay?
That's great.
Okay. Oh, it wasn't.
Does that incorporate Lynn's
Mike,
concern?
What's that?
Does that incorporate?
Yes,
Oh,
right,
okay.
he basically said the same thing but phrased it differently. So, plus the other ones were edits, spellings, people's names, and that was it. So, it's totally up to you guys. I can send out a version 2 document. We can review it at a later time, but it's up to you.
I'm sure I'll move that we accept the minutes as amended.
Okay,
Second.
okay. We have a motion by Mike and a second by John?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, second by John. So all in favor of approving the minutes of our last meeting in December, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's,
Real
A few
quick,
of us are abstained because we haven't read them yet.
pardon me?
I said, I think a few of us abstained because we hadn't read them yet.
Oh,
But that's all right.
it's up to you. Kirsten, thank Drew for fixing the problem. The downloads work good now, so tell him thank you.
Yeah, they were waiting for some server work, but I
Yes.
think it's all set now.
Took a while, but it's good.
okay. Master plan status, I really have nothing new to report at this point. At our last meeting, they took all of the comments that were made at the community meetings, and they condensed those into a sort of initial report, and then they went back, and then our next master plan meeting at the end of this month, we should have a complete chapter. And so they were working on it over the holidays, and that's as much as I have to report on master plan. Any questions on that? Okay. Okay, let's go to the subcommittees. I'll start with energy, and I know that last night Lynn and Paul was there. Mike, were you there also? Was with Freedom Energy, and they made a presentation to the town council, and you want to,
I can give a quick update if you like.
okay, that sounds,
Yeah, Freedom Energy met with the town council, gave an update, which included a little bit of the history of where we've been, the current status of the program, watching the market, so forth and so on. And should the markets be favorable, the next steps that will be taken and the timing of those steps to implement the first aggregation supply service beginning in April. Assuming, that's the big assumption, market conditions hold where we think they'll be. The current indicative pricing sort of suggests that, but we're going to wait until the New Hampshire Public Utilities Commission announces the Eversource default rate before we make the final decision, which will be in the January 15th timeframe. There were some very good questions by members of the town council, areas of, what's the bidding process to solicit the power supply, exit penalties on both sides, both on Freedom's and our side, opt-out provisions for people participating, who qualifies, who doesn't qualify. For example, if you have a solar array on your house, you don't qualify because of the net metering things and all of that. So overall, I thought it was a very good presentation, and the council appeared to have some very good questions, and seemed rather favorable. My reading was they were favorable to the moving forward.
You are correct. They were here. It was a very good presentation. Done very well last
I
night.
thought so too.
Yep.
Watch on TV.
Oh, okay.
Mike, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, Lynn and I are hatching an effort to try to do a more rigorous GIS analysis of the entire town, looking for suitable solar locations. So that's gonna be driven pretty much by the GIS manager's availability, because it involves specialized software that I used to know how to use, but probably don't anymore, because it's probably 14 revisions beyond what I used. But I'll work with him, and we will try to take cast a broad net and then gradually narrow it down and see if we can find some, opportunities.
Sounds great. Anything else on energy? Anybody?
I'm just curious, and this is probably a repeat question, but we're thinking about the solar on land, on soil. We're not thinking about it on town buildings.
No, I think as all options are on the table. I think we need to include parking lots, roofs, you name it.
Fields, okay,
FAA sites.
schools.
Yeah, schools, we're certainly gonna, at least if I get my way, we're gonna not, throw out the schools as a separate entity. We're gonna include, because actually they have some, I think, pretty suitable land. On the other hand, we need to make sure that we involve them in it, and that this is something that they wanna do and that they wanna work with us on. And I know Lynn has been the primary contact with the school system, so I'm gonna rely on him to keep that contact open and involve them in it.
Great idea.
Could I say something?
Sure.
As we know, the North Fire Station has solar panels on their roof. They've been there for quite some time. I don't think they're operational,
I don't think so either.
for whatever reason. I think it would be good to find out what the status is. The high school also has a small solar panels on the high school. I don't know what they're using it for, or whether they have any thoughts of expanding further, but that's actually on the building. It's a rather small section of panels. But absolutely, personally, I mean, I'm not on the energy part of it, but I do try to pay attention. And in regards to having it on parking lots and so forth, I think makes a lot of sense. And I think somebody should be talking to some of the businesses in town to see if any of them are interested in doing that. Now, is that any benefit directly to the town? If we're concerned with clean energy, it is. If we're concerned with the environment, it is. But I think all of that needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I can actually answer that. The solar panels on the North Fire Station, they are operational.
They are.
According to the acting chief, yep.
And
Okay.
it'd be good to know what benefit they're getting out of it, whether that covers their electric usage, whether they're feeding back to the utility, how that's working out for them. We can learn from that.
I can find that out if you look.
Do you have any information on the high school?
No. I don't have anybody I can text in the middle of the meeting over there.
Okay, the next subcommittee would be water.
Yeah, water is gonna be a pretty busy spring. It's, turning out to be, which is great. We've been sort of in a hold, not really a holding pattern, but in a holding pattern for the last 6 or 8 weeks. A couple big projects. We've got Ray's Water Roundtable or Town Hall coming up on the 28th. Sounds like he and Kirsten have done a great job bringing good speakers from the state level. I think this organization is going to have our hands full trying to bring bodies. You know, I'd love to see 50 or 100 people show up at that. So I'm going to be very, very quickly thinking about and pestering my team or the water team on plans and strategies on how we can touch as many bodies and, both, personally through social media, various forms of social media, and maybe we can get some signs on in businesses or something like that. I'm at a good workout at the Planet Fitness, and they've said that they would let us put up a little poster thing, town water awareness, something. We could do it at the grocery stores. We could do it. It would be great to have too many people there. I want it to be enough people where it's we demonstrate to these state employees that we've done our job and we're a town attentive to water. That's going to be happening very quickly. Everybody on the water committee is going to be getting emails first thing tomorrow morning, probably before 9 at least. And I'm going to definitely want to have a water meeting, not the second Saturday, but this coming Saturday, because things are happening so quickly.
So that's the 10th?
Can't?
I just said I can't.
Okay, no, I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just,
Right. I can't, and we usually have it the second.
yeah, we do.
Right.
But
so-
we have some time constraints, so we will figure out a way, even if it's brute force emails so as not to create a quorum. We will get some work done. Maybe Kirsten, would there be possible to get some funding for like poster boards or something like that for an announcement? And maybe easels or something like
I
that?
think what Kirsten wants to do, you were missing part of the meeting, is we've got to sit down and start planning this. We've got to do an announcement what this means, who's it going to affect. I've asked Deb Paul, but I'll ask Kirsten, I'd like to do an op-ed so
Yeah.
people don't get confused on the whole thing. I started sitting down and planning up, and that's why I sent you a note. It's pretty urgent that I'm thinking of having it sometime during this week, but it depends on her schedule, but we need her at the meeting. I'd like to volunteer to start drafting all the bullet points and send them to you, unless you already have them made.
So I'm here all the time, pretty much literally all the time. So you just let me know. The way that I think we envisioned and we had talked about the work, kind of dividing it, is that awareness campaign. I'm happy to devote printing resources here. So we have printers here that we can print stuff out at. You don't need to go to Staples or anything like that. We can do all that here. The town social media is at your disposal. I can post anything there.
Perfect.
I can post anything on the website. I can put you in touch with the police for the board out front. That electric board you can publish in whatever newspapers and whatever places around town that you can get to. I'm happy to post and facilitate that. We don't necessarily have the bandwidth to do, to make that copy. Do you know what I mean? To make the posters, to write the articles and all that. I don't have that. And I don't have the capacity to do that right
So
now.
when you say to make the posters, we need to design them and put.
Yeah,
Okay,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can
Yep.
put a lot of that together.
Once they end up in our inboxes, this is the last month of budget season, so we got a lot going on right now. If they end up in our inboxes, we can certainly send them to the printer for you guys, no problem. Get them up on the social media website, everything that we can definitely do. And I think it's also more impactful when, to John's point, when the articles come from you,
Absolutely.
because you're the people who are saying to your friends, your neighbors, come to this, it's important.
Yep.
And that we've done this for you, and because you have. So you guys did that.
So can the water committee, are you guys available for a meeting in the evening this week? I could do any night this week, and I will make myself available any night this week.
I can also.
Ann, are you available any night this
The
week?
only night I can do it is Thursday.
Thursday? Martha, can you do Thursday? Ray, can you do Thursday?
I think I can do Thursday.
All right, we'll do
Are you
Thursday.
thinking like 5 o'clock or something, library, or?
Yeah, 5 o'clock probably in the library.
Well, we
maybe
can, we can have Sunnycrest at that
or-
time.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Perfect. We'll do Sunnycrest, 5 o'clock this Thursday. And there's going to be a lot of emails flying between now and then. Well, it's only 2 days, but there's going to be emails flying between now and then. I'm going to get into John's emails. And I want to make this be a very productive meeting and not sort of a making sausage meeting. You know, we're going to
Yeah.
we're making sausage, but I want to make sure that we're all have done our homework and we're thinking about it and we're ready to go and we're coming out of the meeting with a really good plan of attack. Because we've only got, if this event is on the 28th, we've got 3 weeks. That's going to go quick.
But
You
you
give
know,
us-
it does work. Newspaper
Yeah.
notices, if we put them in the newspaper.
Newspaper,
next,
Facebook,
you know,
in the
3
town
weeks.
businesses.
So that's important for the warrant article.
And-
Yeah.
But we also have to help
No, I'm
Kristen
just
with,
thinking for the announcement of the event on the 28th.
Sure.
I think we should put an announcement in the paper.
I think we're mixing two things here. Am I right, Kristen?
I think we're talking about the 28th.
Talking
I'm
about the,
focusing,
on the,
oh,
on the 28th for right now.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I was focusing on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just a notice to make sure people know about that, when, where, who's gonna be there,
Yep.
what's expected.
Yep.
And there
And
is
the
a deadline
newspaper.
that Deb Paul has, so we have to keep that in mind.
Right, right. But we can
Yeah.
put it in
We
a
have a
couple
little-
of
we have a
her
couple.
weekly newspapers.
Yeah.
So you have time to do 2 weeks of the Londonderry Times.
Yep.
The Londonderry Times, you would need to get something in by Monday for next Thursdays, and then the subsequent Monday for the following Thursday.
Right.
And we don't have a massive postage budget, but I did get a notice from Santa that Santa spent slightly less on postage this year from the town budget, so that we have a little bit more left over that we can use for sending out to at least the homes that would be in this initial special assessment district.
That's great.
Sending direct mail to them, a letter to them, and personally inviting them to this.
Make a difference.
Yes, so that, and then asking them to tell their friends and neighbors as well.
And I put it on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, all
Absolutely.
the Facebook sites.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be an element of brainstorming. You know, these are 17 or 20 ideas. We need to pair half of them because they're going to be silly, which is perfect. That's what brainstorming is. Or, you know, and then we need to figure out who's going to attack which one and how we're going to execute on all of these and what we can do and what the town can do. So we're going to need to really be on our A game for the next 3 weeks, which is going to be great. You know, we've got good people, smart people. We can do really good stuff. So this Thursday at 5 in the Sunnycrest room, Kirsten, we can get that. I'll get the announcement tomorrow morning and get it to you tomorrow morning, so we're papered correctly. And
Don't worry about that. I'm putting it on the website right now, and then it goes out front. You can get the agenda if you want to do an agenda. Agendas are not legally necessary.
okay,
So I'm posting it now, and then I'll adjust the posting out front tomorrow morning, so it'll be
legal.
okay.
legal.
All right.
Yes.
So we'll for sure be getting a lot of back and forth between now and then on emails. So keep your eye on your emails so we can get as much done and come to the meeting as prepared as possible and get really good work done in the meeting.
I just wanted to let people know too that there is a speaker session on March 7th. Mindy Mesmer is coming to talk about PFAS and PFOA
Here?
at the library.
Okay.
Yep,
March 7th?
March 7th. So that's, well, hopefully, I think, encourage people to connect to municipal water.
So that's going to be,
Warrant, that's more warrant, right? That's more focused on when the elections are, and maybe you can have an impact on those
Sure.
elections.
sure. So that's going to be our 3-week sprint. We do have the special assessment district outreach we're going to be working on. That's going to be coming up soon, but my best of my understanding, that's behind. So we're going to have another sprint coming up. Maybe not a sprint, but another big chunk of work coming up, but that's behind the town hall. So we will table that until we get past the town hall.
Okay, so my apologies. per our last meeting, Chris and I maybe misunderstood you. We have to get signatures
Yes,
to do the warrant article.
yes.
It's not a warrant article, so that's the difference,
That's the
yes.
difference.
And I will say that that was a misprint in the Times. It's not a warrant article.
Right.
It's a petition to the council to form a special assessment district.
Right.
The actual district is not bound to a timeline. It's not bound to the warrant timeline. The funding, setting aside funds for it is, but that's already on the warrant as it's being heard right now in front of the council. So the $400,000 warrant article is already moving through the motions through the council. We don't have the same deadline for the formation of the district, so it's not like that has to be done in a week. We would like to have those signatures and ready to go before the council is. And there's a
That's what I was
timeline.
saying, that kind of needs an explanation, because
Yep.
people are gonna be screaming, oh, they're taking out money, this is gonna cost us.
And that's what-
We have to
that's-
explain, we have to do a paragraph, I like to do an op-ed, whatever it takes to get people to say, oh, that's not so bad.
If I'm being candid, I'm kind of viewing this event on the 28th as kind of the perfect kickoff to that information.
Oh, all right,
So, as we will let the people know in the district, we'll expand it out. We've been talking about it here. It's been written about in the Times. We've talked about it. The council's done a really good job talking about it in the meetings. So this is not something, it's not something new. It's not something that people haven't heard before, but we really want to make sure people understand it. And so this is kind of, this water event that Ray has organized is kicking that off and starting moving it forward, after which point we'll be able to communicate a lot and clearly, and also we'll be able to source questions. And that's a really important thing that night will be, because we will, the way that it's set up, and this is actually kind of raised like most ingenious innovation in this, is that it's not just people speaking or coming to the mic, it's one-on-one interactions. So in a debrief after this session, after hearing an hour and 15 minutes or so of questions from people, we'll all have a much better idea what the community actually wants to know, what questions they actually have, and we'll be able to answer them. Because if somebody comes into that water event and has a question, I guarantee you 300 other people in the town have the same question. So that's what we'll be able to do. So that's where kind of this, it's almost like a massive kickoff event to getting people really over the course of February, really to understand what that warrant article does and what it enables people to do in this town.
But the warrant article, because we're using the term warrant article, is supposed to be approved by the town council, not the public.
No, the warrant article is voted on by the pub. So a warrant article is something you vote on the ballot. That's what a warrant article is.
But you said it actually wasn't a warrant article.
So the money is a warrant article.
Okay,
Forming the district is not. That actually has to come
Okay.
two different ways.
gotcha. Okay,
So if people petition the town council to form a special assessment district, then you need to fund that special assessment district. So what they're saying is they're going to set aside, if this article passes, $400,000 that's already in the undesignated fund, right? So it's now designating 400,000 of that to be available for these special assessment districts. And then the first special assessment district, we're going to work on getting the signatures to get it formed so people can start connecting to water next year. The state was really excited about this. Pennachuck's really excited. Everybody's really excited because water lines only do so much good if they're in the middle of the road and if they're not connected to your faucet. So, and again, really making it clear to people this is a loan program. This is not giving some people's taxpayer money to another person. It's not everybody else is paying for their line. It's a loan program. There's no forgiveness on that loan program. You pay it back with your taxes. It's that simple. And that, yeah, so we have to do the two separate parts of that procedure. And like I said, the money part is already moving through the process exactly as it needs to, the funding part. What we'll need to do is get that first district going.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The meeting you guys were talking about, where we discussed the timeline and how critical it is,
Mm-hmm.
that all that's stale now? Because I had in my head that there was a very, very tight time.
If we felt like we had to form it before the election, that meeting that we had,
Yep.
that the group of us had, yeah.
Yeah.
When I took that information back to Sean, we kind of talked about what we needed to do in the order, and there's a really good argument to be made for the fact that if there's no funding available, why would the council form a special assessment district if the voters didn't approve
So
funding?
it's good-ish to have it after, okay.
The idea is now to have all the signatures ready so that there has to be at least a 30-day period from when the signatures are received to the public hearing in front of the council. So the goal is to have, and like I said, the next meeting we have, I'll have a more robust schedule built out.
So,
Have the signatures done before the election so that after the election, if it's funded, can move forward with
Perfect, okay.
the district. Because again, if there's no funding for these, it doesn't make sense to have them,
okay, perfect, perfect, that's excellent.
which makes that February timeframe for communication critical.
Right.
Remember how you guys were bored for a while?
Yep.
Remember that?
I told you
I told ya.
We're in second gear for 6 or 8 weeks, so we're gonna make up for it.
Welcome to fifth.
So just to reiterate, next water meeting is Thursday at 5 in the Sunnycrest room. Kirsten, I'm gonna just ping you on this. We talked about the Microsoft To-Do software thing. I know you've got a million things to do, I'm just pinging you.
That is on a separate kind of,
I understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely on a little bit of a hold, but
Committee is a fine answer for that, yeah.
in committee.
That's perfectly acceptable.
Table in committee.
And then we're doing some data collection. We're doing some work on collecting data on water quality coming out of the Pennachuck treatment. Ann's working on that. And then we're going to finalize. We have a bunch of work on the work for the thing that you're working on with the master plan. We have a couple things on the master plan that we're working on, what we're going to do for the master plan, but we've already done a lot of that, and we're just able to research it. So a lot of work in the next 3 weeks, and I know we can do a great job. And Ray, good luck on the 28th.
What are you presenting?
You are.
You are on the 28th. No, you're the MC.
This is for the town of
We're
Londonderry.
going to get you a tie and a. You're
No,
gonna,
no. This is for the town of Londonderry. What does the town of Londonderry want to present to the general public?
a whole slew of data.
What?
That's what we're going to talk about on Thursday.
Okay.
We have all of Kirsten's data. It's going to be phenomenal.
So
It's
you
not-
guys have actually told me that. It's not my stuff. Let's be clear. This is an event inspired and organized by you. You've given me what you want people to talk about. We sat in meetings and did that.
Yeah.
So I have the information you have. I've passed that on to DES. I've passed that on to Sean. I'm going to keep working on it. So
And
Right, you could run the whole thing, or if you want help, you got help.
yeah, you got a whole,
Yeah, we'll
you got a
all
whole
be
team
there.
Well, yeah,
working for you.
Or you can work that out this Thursday.
Yeah, we'll work on it Thursday.
Exactly.
Okay.
We'll work on it Thursday. And Kirsten, could you send me an email with the people that are attending, with the speakers, just so we can, if we want to put those in
as
the.
soon as I have that confirmed, I will absolutely do that.
All right, I think that's it. Any questions? Yes.
And the water quality that you're looking at with Pennachuck, will you be doing the same thing with Manchester since, yeah,
Oh,
okay,
that's
thanks.
a great question. And there's another one too, aren't a few people on the dairy water as well, Kirsten? Like a tiny little sliver?
Yeah, it's relatively small, but I think that information could probably be found on Dairy's. To be honest, I haven't looked at it, but Dairy has quite a lot of information on their website.
Okay.
So I would start there.
All right, and that's the water meeting.
Okay, very good. Now moving on to sewer and solid waste. That would be you, John.
Hello. Sewer and Solid Waste Committee, due to illness and injury, did not meet in the last couple of weeks. It actually hasn't met since the last utilities meeting, but I do have 3 quick things to kind of go over. With regard to composting, we're still pursuing sort of a 3-tiered, I guess 4 if you include do nothing, but a 3-tiered strategy to encourage composting in Londonderry. We're looking at, and Joy, who's not here tonight, is researching home composting equipment. We have some agreement from the town manager to help us fund that from one of his budget lines, to at least subsidize that and allow folks that want to do home composting to purchase equipment at a reduced rate, ideally. We are still looking at composting drop-off sites. There's a business that is proposed, we had proposed to use as a drop-off site on the north end of town, but it does not appear that that's going to work, so we'll have to find something else. And then the third thing, and I think most encouraging and furthest along at this point, is we have one company in town, Renewal Compost, who is doing residential compost pickup. And they just started picking up at folks' homes in the last 6 weeks. And he picks up every other week, and he's had a couple of runs now to sort of knock the bugs out. He's approached customers he's lost over the years to the fact that they didn't want to drop off, they didn't want to deal with it, and secured almost all of those back. So the program is pretty easy. There's a $10 startup fee, and then after that, I believe it's $21 a month for twice-a-month pickup. He gives you a bucket with a lid that you put out on the curb once every 2 weeks, and in the spring he'll give you a nice big bag of compost for your garden. So pretty straightforward. The target customer there really is folks that either don't have the time or don't have the space to do composting, and they still want to. They see a benefit. Usually, this would be more leading edge folks that want to contribute or not contribute to landfills and contribute to a better environment. So that's their current target.
Does he have an option to drop off for a lower cost?
He does over at Sunnycrest, but in fairness, I did not ask him if he was going to continue that.
Okay.
Once he started residential. I can put that on my list of asks. So that's what we have right now. I spoke to him the other day, 2 days ago, and he basically is looking for the Sewer and Solid Waste Committee to help him promote his business. We have a fine line there between promoting a public business and being overly, I think we can give him guidance, but not too much direct involvement, because he is a private business, but we'll figure that out. Second topic, Better Bins. If anyone recalls, I'm going to sound like one of my grandkids now, a really cool app, okay? If you recall, it basically it allows people to, in its simplest form, to recycle correctly and better. If you have an item that has a QR code on it, you can scan it with this app, and it will tell you that goes in your trash bin, that goes in your recycle bin, tells you exactly what to do with it. It'll even on some, because I scanned I shouldn't be eating cookies, but I scanned I scanned a bag of cookies, and the bag has to go in the trash, but the container that the cookies were in could go. It even split it up like that. It's really cool. And beyond that, if you scan something that's not in their database, you can take a picture of the item, send it to them. They will analyze it and then add it to their database. They call it sort of an AI learning type thing. And then future people, including yourself, will see that come up. I did that with Piantadosi rolls, which wasn't in their database, and that it worked great, and they responded within 24 hours. So it's a really interesting startup. I talked with their VP of Marketing Development this morning. She basically said that her advice would be they can add on composting at a later date. What can go to, they can even split it up. The residential pickup guy can take bones, but you can't do bones in your backyard compost, for example. They can split that up and help people define how they compost things. So very interesting. They gave us some numbers. The numbers were a little frightening, but we'll see where it all goes. This is currently used in 2 communities in New Hampshire. Lebanon and Hanover. Our 2 communities are on this program currently. So Very interesting. We'll have some more conversations about that next time Sewer and Solid Waste gets together. And lastly, a topic that's near and dear to Ray's heart, my heart, dog waste. If I could read a statement to you. There are over 3,676 licensed dogs in our town. Each of these dogs produces about 3/4 of a pound of solid waste and over 7 billion bacteria daily. Okay, so that is a very impactful statement. Okay. I spoke to our Sherry Farrell about following up on Ray's meeting with her about approaching licensed dog owners in our town and at least getting them a brochure. I shared a digital copy of this brochure with Sherry. She is still going through the process of seeing what they can do in terms of adding that to the mailings that they do. She thinks it can be done now, but she just needs a confirmation from the legal folks. But she has agreed if we run off some prints, and now that I hear, Kirsten, you have the capability of printing, maybe I'll give you some of these.
Be my pleasure.
To folks that come in and register their dogs in person, they'll include that in the materials given out at those sessions. So I think it's a step forward, and in the words of this brochure, catchy motto, kids at play, keep poop away. Okay, so this is where we're at. And that is all I have, Madam Chairman.
There's no pee in my pool.
Okay. That's-
I'm sure you guys all know.
That's the end.
That's ended on a big note. Okay.
Madam Chair,
That's something.
James had something.
I was going to say, I'm sure you guys all know that the pet waste, your near and dear thing, that public outreach and education is critical in MS4 reporting, stormwater reporting. So it has that added benefit if you didn't already know that.
I did know that.
So I'll definitely want to capitalize on your efforts for stormwater reporting on our annual permit requirements.
So Mike, there you go. There's your input into the stormwater thing. Found it.
Real quick, you said 3,600 pets and how much per day, per pet?
36,000.
36,000?
No, 3,676, 3/4 of a pound per dog, 7 billion bacteria per dog per day. Okay? Those are impressive numbers. And they all go into your water.
Some bacteria is good,
Yes.
Yes.
not all.
Not all.
No.
The roses like it, the spruce trees, they die.
Madam Chair, are we
Yes.
done with the subcommittee
No,
report?
we still have cable.
Oh, okay. I just wanted, can I insert one that I forgot?
Yes.
From the Energy Committee?
Yes.
Paul, Lynn, and I went on site to see the dairy solar facility. And probably the best news that comes out of that is their enthusiasm and complete willingness to help us as we endeavor to do something similar. They had some real advantages. Their off-taker is it's all the municipal facilities, but the big one is their water treatment plant, and it's right there next to the array. Three-phase power is very close to the array. So they went with a power purchase agreement, so they don't own the array, they just buy the electrons from the people that own it. They do get lease payments because the thing is built on an old dairy landfill, which is good from our standpoint, because, we're working on our landfill, and it shows it can be done.
Yeah.
So, there's no action here, but we will be able to rely on them as we move forward. I just wanted to, number one, recognize their generosity. They had their engineer there, they had the town manager there, and at least one other person, a staff person, I think, sort of like James's equivalent. So it was a very good and worthwhile visit, and I apologize for not bringing it up sooner. Should I add anything, Paul?
I'm just wondering if it might be useful to invite some of those folks to come and give a presentation as to how they did it in their town? What they did, what steps they took to get that project off the ground there? What do you think?
We got some of that in a less formal manner.
Okay.
And it's kind of, a lot of it's
Repeat.
unique to what they did. I'm not sure we want to impose on them to make, one more trip and say all that again.
Okay.
I believe they did make a presentation
Did.
a number of years ago,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Before we were this utility committee, didn't they come to the old precursor to this committee?
Was
Yes.
it
Town
Yes,
Town council.
and that was
Yeah.
before,
Yeah, even before that.
Yeah, it was, we had the other committee that Tom Dolan was chair of.
oh,
I think you're mixing them. There was a PFAS and PFOA committee that we had prior to this, that Tom was in charge of.
Yeah.
And then there was an energy committee, I think that Martha and Deb were
Yes.
on, and were you on too?
Yeah, I was on it too,
Yeah.
yep.
That's on.
Okay,
So that was, yeah,
I stand corrected.
No?
yeah.
it's okay.
So for what it's
But
worth,
at that point in time, they were in the very infancy of
Right.
working
Well-
on this
well, they-
project and getting approvals and everything, and I think
Well,
that they,
they had a project, a trial project at their drop-off center, which is still there. Okay, that was kind of a trial, see how that went.
okay.
That's still there. Was there any talk about capturing any of their methane from the landfill?
We didn't cover that, no.
No, I will add that Freedom Energy has talked to us informally that if the town's interested in some sort of solar arrangement, I'll call it, with a third party or whatever, they have worked with other towns in developing that concept. Because there are contracts involved and all those types of things, so I'll just throw that out there. There was no commitment on their part, it was just an informal discussion. But they are in that arena of business to work as well.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you look at Manchester, what they've done with their landfill, and in the past, now they've got a whole solar farm there, but they were extracting the methane from the landfill.
Oh, that's a separate project.
That's a whole separate issue.
Yeah,
Well,
and separate technology.
has to do with energy, though.
No, it has to do with energy, but it is different technology.
Okay?
Okay, the next one is you, John. It's cable and internet. Do you have anything to report?
Real quick, they are continuing to do, quote, upgrades within the town. I have asked, but they have not told me what those upgrades consist of. And as some of you might have noticed, I went to do some testing again, and I sent a little thing that says, sorry, we're doing maintenance right now, you can't do that. And that is important, because what I was doing was a system restart, was make sure your boxes are up to date, all the programming is downloaded, they recognize different boxes in the houses, and all the recordings are available. So, that kind of like stopped that testing for the day, so I need to try to call the district manager again and see, you gotta help us here, so. That's it.
Okay.
But that's a little bit lower on the list because we got some water stuff to do.
Yes, we do have some water stuff to do. That's fairly important. Okay, so we move on now to roundtable discussions. So, Ray, do you have anything to add tonight?
Yeah, I guess, in regards, my thought is in regards to the high school in particular. Should we include the young people in the conversation about water? I think we should. I talked to Bob Slater, and he put me in contact with the principal of the high school, and I had a brief discussion with him, and he suggested that we, or I, talk to Katie Sullivan, who, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's been with the school for a long time. Actually, wait a minute. She actually went to school with my daughter. But she is a type of person that can get people together, particularly the students.
Yes.
And I plan on having a discussion with her, okay? I think it's vitally important that the young people are included in the discussion about these critical issues. So, I don't know what everybody else's thoughts is in that regard.
I
Or
agree.
even what the town thinks of that. But I think that's something that I would like to see, that they are involved with this. If we're going to have something at the cable center that we've been talking about for quite some time, I think it'd be a great way to get the word out. And I think we should move forward in that regard, but we can discuss that. Does anybody else have any
I think it's a
thought?
great idea. I like getting students involved, and we've talked about it in sewer and solid waste as well.
Can I just build on this a little bit, and maybe, Ron, we could even get some help from you guys.
Okay.
Beautify Londonderry, 2 years ago, tried to get, and got a couple of high school students involved. But we were told at that point in time that they could not be formal committee members. They couldn't be,
Well, that's fine.
but I think you have to look at the value for these kids, besides doing the right thing. And I think it would be an interesting thing if we could get, and particularly where so many of our committees are short bodies right now, particularly young bodies, okay? That if we could get a position created as an add-on to all these various committees for a student in the school, that they could add to their resume when they go to apply to colleges, et cetera, et
Potentially
cetera.
credits.
I know the two young men that we had attached to Beautify Londonderry, one ended up at Dartmouth and the other ended up in one of the West Coast schools. And I can't help but think that being involved with us, at least a little bit in town government, was helpful in their applications.
Absolutely.
And I think that would be something, Ron, I don't know how we go about doing it, but
Well, I remember when we did it before, we did it as a liaison
Yeah.
because they had to be 18 to be on the committee. So I could certainly pursue that avenue again and see if we could have a liaison created for the committee.
yeah, they don't necessarily have to vote, but that would be nice if we had a formal position set aside. It also might help us with somebody like Katie Sullivan when she goes out to try to recruit kids to join these various committees. You know,
I don't think they necessarily, I think that's a great idea, but I don't think they necessarily have to be a member of the committee. I just want them to be involved,
You can actually.
and I want them to take their information home to their parents.
Well, I thought that years ago, I remember the town council having a student liaison.
Not to my knowledge anyway, but but
Okay, it was a long time ago, and it wasn't your
That
council.
was
Yeah.
before Ron.
but I know for a fact the two young men you're talking about, we made them liaisons. We actually had their name on the website too. So
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and it gives them some incentive too, to get involved.
and they gave very
too.
good input.
And
You know,
perhaps,
they gave good input.
a perspective that certainly
Right.
folks with grayer hair
And
have, you know,
I do
so-
recall they tried to recruit some people to replace them, right? And they weren't successful. So
well, yeah, they
No,
they
no.
had a little problem when they tried to inspire some of their fellow students to
Right.
participate in as far as
Right.
recycling.
but they did a good job.
Mr. Council Chair and Madam Chair, I will say that there's nothing in the charter that says you have to be 18. It says you have to be a resident of Londonderry to be on a board. So the charter is obviously the most difficult to amend. Amending code, if we wanted to, would be a matter of doing it in council.
I believe, if I am correct, I believe Mike looked into it and said that you had to be 18 to be on a committee, but
And we can
that's going
certainly
back
take a
2.5,
look into
3
it.
years, so.
Yeah, we can certainly take
Yeah,
a
I
look
think,
into it. The charter doesn't say anything on it. You have to be 18 to be an elected official.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so we would have to look at
Absolutely worth pursuing, yeah.
that. But also there's if the council, it would be up to the council whether they would want to put student members as liaisons or additional members. And it could also be a board by board situation too. Some things like planning board, it might not necessarily be appropriate, but for you guys, and like you're saying, for Beautified Londonderry, if the council is open to it, we can work forward on that if you so decide.
So how do we move this forward, Ron?
I would ask you to come to a town council meeting, be on the agenda, and present it to the town council. How's that?
We'll talk, John. We'll talk. This is what happens when you talk.
Well, let's,
Getting back to what I said.
yeah, getting back
Getting
to what
back to
Ray
what I
said,
said.
and having a conversation with Katie Sullivan, and just finding out if there is any interest at all, would be a very good first step, Ray. And if you want to follow up with that, I think you
That's what
have
I'm trying to
support
figure,
here.
if anybody's got any objections to that.
We have support here. Would you like a vote?
Would you like someone to come with you?
Yes. Since you asked.
My only caution here is that Joy has mentioned at one of our previous meetings that she has talked to Katie, I think. And she
Well,
certainly talked to
I
the
want
green team.
Joy involved also.
I think that's what I'd recommend. is
Yes,
that you-
yes.
Before you talk to anybody
Well,
at the school, talk to Joy and see what
If Joy
she's
was here
up to.
tonight, I
Yeah,
would talk to her.
right.
I intend to follow up and talk to her
Good, good.
before I meet with Katie Sullivan.
Yeah, okay. So I think we're all on board with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we're-
Well, okay, you don't necessarily need to vote then.
no,
Make it so.
no.
Okay.
Make it so.
Yeah, we're going to ask you to go ahead.
I can't vote anyways. so.
Go ahead and do that. I don't think we have to vote.
I wouldn't think.
No,
We can talk about it at the upcoming water meeting.
yes, okay. Bear with me, I'm a newbie.
Hey, Ray, thinking of the water meeting, can you have reached out to Joy and/or Kate before then so we can have an update of what needs to happen?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
What, is Joy ill or?
Joy had a conflict,
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
I don't want to bother if she's.
Great
ill.
idea, Ray.
Okay. John, do you have anything
I'm
to
all
add
set.
to the roundtable?
I'm
Mike?
good.
You're good. I am good.
Jeff's good.
I'm always good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, that
We're all
sounds good.
Kirsten, James?
Nobody
We've
here
got a lot
for,
of good people.
Good.
Go.
nobody here for public comment again, so we'll skip that part. And our next meeting is Tuesday, February 3rd. It would be in this room, and I hope to see you all there. With that, I will adjourn the meeting at 8 o'clock.
Do you need a motion to adjourn?
Probably,
Oh,
Martha, you need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Joking too. Second,
I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
second,
Second.
And
third,
Okay.
fourth, fifth.
Wait a minute,
Paul
all in favor?
and Ann, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Newbie, what?